Dinner for shoes, please.
Welcome to an episode of Dinner for Shoes. It's also our first episode of Women's History Month, so it's a really important one. Let me just start by saying I have had a day. If you can't notice by the setup, the glare is like coming in from my new set of Dinner for Shoes. I haven't quite figured out how to figure that out yet. I'm tired and I don't feel like recording right now, but as a woman who keeps on keeping on, I was like, you know what? I need to record this. I want to get this episode up. Just relax. I saw Trish in the corner. I was like, Trish is already on set. Trish is taking her cue. Take a tip from Trish and get up there and do your thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. Also appropriate for the first day of Women's History Month is that we're the only women in the apartment right now, me, Kit, and Trish. And I also talked to a fucking awesome woman for this first episode of Women's History Month. So I'm really excited to introduce her. We had such a great long conversation that I didn't want to cut much of it. So we're skipping the meal today. I mean, unless you consider my Kate Spade boot a meal, but we are still going to talk about the outfit behind the shoes. We're going to talk about the shoe. We're going to talk about why I'm wearing what I'm wearing. Hey, Kit. See, my girls are with me. They're like here. They're like, Mom, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, all right, I guess I can do it, you know? But okay, so let me talk a little bit about Madison, and then that will segue into why I'm wearing what I'm wearing today and the fashion choices were made. Madison calls herself a trans glam girl. She's fucking awesome. I met her a long time ago. I was interviewing her because I was collecting queer stories and I connected with her instantly. I actually ended up interviewing her, but it just became more of like a girls talk multiple times. And we just like stay in touch and we're social media friends because Madison lives in LA. But once upon a time, and you'll hear a little bit more about this when you listen to our conversation, but I was wearing a top. Madison liked it. She asked me about it. She was like, where did you get it? I knew it wasn't available anymore. And I sent it to her. And just like that, we kind of emulated the exact subject and conversation that we ended up having a chat about for this episode, which is just loving someone else's sense of style, admiring it, and making it your own. And Madison is so good at that. Madison is one of those people who really knows her sense of style. Like she can pinpoint, for example, the top I was wearing, or she looks at celebrity style. She particularly is really into Kylie Jenner right now, but has always been a big fan of Madison Beer's style. And she just knows, she's like, that is a look I would wear. How am I going to take that and make it mine? And what I admire about her is that she really does a great job at making it her own. And she kind of teases in our conversation how she's going to do that with one of Kylie's looks down the line. But I kind of took a tip from her for my outfit. So because Madison loves Madison Beer, Madison also doesn't like heels. Neither does Madison Beer, funnily enough. They're sneaker girlies, but they're also just like flats girlies. So I was on Pinterest and I was like, let me look at some of Madison Beer's outfits. Madison Beer is like, actually, if you listen to my last episode, Caitlin James, who is a closet organizer, worked with Madison Beer and was like super excited to work with her because she has this really cool sense of vintage style. And she has all these like prized possessions. I feel like she's very 90s. And so I went on Pinterest and I was like looking at some of her outfits. And I also found that she wears a lot of combat boots. So then I was like, okay, Madison Beer combat boots. And I saw this one look. She wore like a silk slip mini dress. I don't have a mini dress, a silk slip mini dress. But I was like, you know what? You never took that Anthropologie slip for a spin. Why don't you do that? So I was like, all right, I'm going to put on my Anthropologie slip. And I went for my combat boots, which I realized I also never featured. I have not featured yet. And these are the coolest fucking combat boots, in my opinion. They're Kate Spade. I love them. I probably am going to wear them until they're like raggedy and old, but I've already gotten so much wear out of them. I wore them during Fashion Week one season with like a tuxedo looking, like cropped. There was a cropped jacket involved and like a pair of wool trousers. I will say that's probably my most cat hair collected suit. It just, for some reason, the wool, it just collects cat hair like mad. Anyway, I particularly love the pouch. Now, only one of the straps on these boots comes with a pouch, but I love the one that does come with that. I always try to put something in here. And every time I go out and I wear these, I'm like, what can I put in here? And it used to be like my grape ice cubes gum, because I used to be obsessed with chewing that gum, but now I don't really chew gum anymore because they're starting to giving me like TMJ. So I don't put grape ice cubes gum in here, but now it's like, what can I put in here? Catnip? I am a cat, so catnip would be ideal, but I don't know. You tell me what I can put in this boot. Anyway, I'm gonna put these back on. I just think that they're the coolest boots. I really love them, and I think they look so good with a slip. And I even wore like a pair of cherry embroidered socks to go so that they're like kind of like sticking out of the combat boot. And then on top of that, I also brought back my Betsey Johnson rhinestone clutch. The last time I wore this for an episode, it was during the New Year's recording. It was an option for one of my going out for New Year's looks. And I love the lip side, but there's also lipstick. This is a vintage clutch. I thought vintage, Madison Beer likes vintage. Hey, so everything's tying together and fitting the vibe. I will put this on my plate since we are not diving into any nummies today, although we have lots of great food to come for the rest of the episodes in Women's History Month. So I'm really excited for you to try some things with me. Another thing I do love about this slit is that it's really sexy. Aside from the straps being lace, which is just like, that's delicate, be careful, Sarah. I'm the kind of person who like always ruins everything. I'm very rough with things. I'm loud. The neighbors downstairs are already complaining about me, according to Nick. One of them actually texted him and said, Sarah has woken me up every morning since she moved in. I don't know how she knew it was me, but I guess she just like had some sort of feeling, or she was just like, vacuum on, must be Sarah. I don't know. But my mom has always told me that I've like walked, I've kind of like stomped. But you know what? Like I'm bringing all of this into my womanhood, and I'm saying that that's because I'm sure. I do things with sureness and with intensity and with power. And so I am happy to say that I'm loud. But regardless, I, am this look is sexy. That's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. So I like the lace. It's delicate. Be careful. There you go. There's my train of thought. I like hopped back on that train of thought. And it's got a thigh high slit, which I think is cool. And Madison Beer also really rocks a lot of sexy trends. And I love that about her too. So I just figured like all of this kind of goes hand in hand with Madison's personal style icon. And we had a really important conversation about celebrity style, about how it influences the people who follow them, their fans, and people who just love to get dressed with celebrities in mind. I don't think that's to say that like you can't go ahead and look at other, bloggers, influencers, just random street style pictures of on TikTok or Pinterest. But I think that there's such a strong conversation about celebrity style and how it impacts us, and how it kind of, honestly, in a really positive way, like forces us to look within and take a look and make it our own and say like, I like that look. It's not my look, but I can make it mine. And I think that it's really a unique, experience to do that. So that's kind of why I tried to style my look like one of Madison Beer's today. You are gonna get to dive into my conversation with Madison now. You're going to see that top that I'm talking about that I ended up sending to Madison, which is just, it professes the way in which like women admire other women's style. And I think that's my favorite thing about women. I love women who can confidently say, I'm not copying you. I love what you're wearing. This should be flattering to you. I just love that. I think that the conversation that Madison and I had is really honest as well. And that's another thing that I love about women. So I just couldn't think of any better conversation to lead Women's History Month with. So I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I became a creator of my own I would say at the end of 2020.
Okay.
And that's when I started realizing I could actually do what I'm doing. And I remember when I made my first post, it was about encouraging queer people around the holiday season to really make sure that they find themselves in a safe space. And it was received well, and I thought, wow, maybe I do have things to say instead of being just the girl sitting in a corner twirling her hair as I always was before. So and now I am a writer, just like you are, but not to your level. But I'm a writer, and I am a makeup lover, and now I combine beauty and human rights, LGBT advocacy together.
It's incredible what you do, and don't say not to my level. You're an amazing writer. I mean, I've read your work before. You're a great writer. Yeah, and I think like I know this is like a question that I have for you a little bit later, but just in envisioning like your infographics that you post on social, you have a knack for capturing so many people's attention with like just a few words. I think that that's huge. So should be very proud of yourself. So I know that you're more like a beauty person. So let's talk about both beauty and fashion. Like I am more fashion, but you also have a bunch of fashion like inspirations and influencers who you've like collected over the years. So who does inspire you? Where do you go to get your inspiration, whether it's beauty or fashion?
Yeah, so I also recently got into Pinterest, and I'm noticing slowly but surely that I have very much my main inspirations for fashion. And I would say that the main ones are Kylie Jenner, Madison Werner, and really 90s Cindy Crawford, or even Kaya Gerber now. And so I really, really love the 90s look. I think a lot of people do. But I think the way that Kylie and Madison put it all together to make it more modern is just perfection.
100%. Yeah. I've been finding a lot of inspiration in like Kylie's new brand Kai, just the way that like
that's what I'm wearing.
I tried that, not that puffer, but like the vest. I love it.
Yeah, oh my god, I love it.
Love.
I keep this in my car all the time.
Wait, did you like get that before it sold out? Because I feel like all of her clothes like sold out at least once.
Well, I got this one before it sold out, but then I recently just got the leather trench coat in the mail.
Oh my god, how is that?
It's so good. That was on pre-order in like November, October, and I was like, I just needed it, and it just arrived a couple of days ago, so I'm in love. I wear it all the time.
Yeah, she makes that look so good. Like that was like what, like the first like outfit she styled herself in, and everyone went nuts. It's so good.
Yes. And there's something about the way that it like cinches at the waist.
Yeah,
is just like it creates this shape, and I don't know. I think that's why I love her style, but also Madison Werner's, who is a lot softer in her style, because I think I wouldn't say grungy, but I would say the King Kylie era influenced version of Kylie Jenner, plus the sort of vintage, thrifted, sort of decadent, gentle, elegant style of Madison Werner, like together is just me.
Yeah.
And I think I also really avoid heels if I can, and Madison Werner heels, and she'll find ways to style sneakers instead. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
So
let's actually talk about this a little bit, because like I feel like even when you and I first met, Madison was like someone who you really looked up to like help define your sense of style. And I feel like celebrities do that for us so often now, where we all have like you immediately named like your top three, and you've like throughout the years even like modeled some of your outfits after what Madison has worn, or like you're like, oh, like Madison has that piece, like I need to get that piece. What do you think that says about like the power of celebrity style and how it impacts like our personal mood boards?
Oh my god. I mean, I think when I think of celebrities influencing fashion, I also think of the way that they influence beauty. And like what I go to is the 2000s really, really thin eyebrows that like, actually like we didn't want to do. And thankfully I grew up or started my sort of beauty journey like right after that. But I think at the time everyone was doing that, and all the celebrities were tweezing out their eyebrows, and so we all did it, not realizing that actually we might regret it later.
Yup.
And I think, like, in the same way today, when it comes to fashion and beauty, like, we see these very artistic, very editorial looks that are actually probably just trends that we'll look back on and not love later.
100%.
And I think that also influences a lot of fast fashion and a lot of the sort of TikTok era of trends coming and go within weeks.
Yeah.
So it definitely impacts that. We have to remember that timelessness is so beautiful. And of course, individuality is beautiful as well. So, like, do whatever you want. But, like, I'm someone who, I don't want to look back and regret the looks I've made. And I have already, but I don't know. The way that stylists and celebrities influence fashion is just completely mind-blowing.
Totally. But we all have, like, looked back at past looks and been like, what was I thinking and everything? And I think it's, like, so hard to stay true to yourself and, like, keep your own, like, DNA, I guess, throughout the looks that you're creating as you're impacted by the trends. So how would you say that, like, through the years, like, if it's just, like, one or two things, you have stayed true to, like, your look, like your love and your look? How do you think that you, like, kept that sense of self throughout all of the trend? What was that one mainstay that you stayed true to, basically, in your wardrobe?
Yeah, I definitely have that. One thing that I've never loved, at least on me, is a crazy pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I love just solid color blocking, like, just monochrome is great too, but if I have, like, I mean, even today, like, under this, I have a Skims, like, blue tank top that matches the outside. And, you know, like, and I'm wearing black sweatpants. And so just very, very minimal, I would say. Mm-hmm. That's sort of kept me through all these trends. And, of course, I'll accessorize with something that's a little bit more flashy every now and then, but for me, I feel not only myself, but also less almost like anxious when I just don't have too much pattern going on and all that. I will play with texture.
Okay.
But not pattern.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a way I've done that. And also I stay true to the idea that I may love something and someone else may not love it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I do want to keep my individuality there through the trends. But, like, I don't know, it's always been just plain color blocking colors.
Yeah. That, I mean, I think that's so good that you, like, have those almost like rules for yourself. You're like, I won't play with patterns so much, but, like, I'll play with texture. And it's like, if you remember those two rules or whatever, you can see a trend you like and then interpret it in your own way and, like, for your own wardrobe, which is really cool.
There's one trend that everyone says is out now that I think is, like, I think it's a little timeless.
Okay.
Like, people might disagree with me, but I think that ripped jeans and, like, distressed denim is actually super cool. And I'll never, like, I don't know. I think that'll come back. But, like, it's just a trend that's been on my mind. Like, oh, why are you saying that? Like, it's I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's funny because it's like that's such a 90s trend and you love the 90s and it, like, speaks to that. But you know what's really funny about ripped jeans? It's like, because I was just going through my closet to move in here and I got rid of so much. Now, I love ripped jeans and I think if I liked the way I looked in ripped jeans, I would always keep them. I agree with you. It's timeless. I hate, like, we all have our things that we just don't love. And for me, it's like my legs. And I've always had, like, this, like, relationship with my legs where it's like love-hate. Like, you love them because it's your body and you want to practice self-love. But at times, that's, like, my one body part where I'm like, I don't like how that looks in whatever TK item. And I feel like in ripped jeans, I have this, like, I think I wrote about this when I was writing about Abercrombie and Fitch, because it's like coming back to me, but I have this memory of like being in middle school and like my thighs kind of like popping through the holes when I was like sitting down in ripped jeans. And I have this weird like thing with ripped jeans where I just feel super self-conscious when I'm wearing them, and it probably goes back to that. And because of that, I got rid of those ripped jeans. But I thought about how, like, you know, it's really such a shame because I think these are so cool. I would still wear these if I liked the way I looked in them, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, isn't that a weird, like, sort of, I don't know the word, but like a paradox almost of like,
yeah.
I love it, but just not on us.
100%. Like, I think everyone has like styles like that they feel that way about. Like, they love it on other people, but it's just, you know, and that's fine. And I think that just knowing and like talking about the fact that we have that kind of makes it easier. I feel like if someone else was listening to this conversation, they'd be like, oh, like, yeah, you know what, it's fine. I just won't wear that. I'll wear all the stuff that makes me feel good, because it should be about what makes us feel good.
Exactly, and I think that if you're feeling good in what you wear, everything else, like, you almost just end up looking good because your energy and the way you feel is coming through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that actually literally ties into the question I was going to ask you next, which is like, both in beauty and in fashion, when you want to express a certain mood, like, I don't know, you throw the mood at me, any mood that you can think of, do you have like a go-to? So like, let's say you're feeling like edgy or you're feeling like frisky, like what makeup will you use? What outfit will you wear? What's like your go-to to put on a mood?
So I have a few. So I would say my safe but statement outfit is that new Kai leather trench coat, because it's like I can wear whatever I want underneath. I can wear pajamas underneath. No one's gonna see it.
Yeah.
And I just cinch the waist with the little tie, and I look like I'm in the Matrix, which everyone tells me, and I'm like, I'm literally never seen that, but I understand.
Same. My boyfriend's like, you haven't seen the Matrix. You dress like the Matrix 90% of the time. I'm like, so.
I would say that's like my state. I feel good in it, and it's a statement. But I would say that my go-to every day is either so it's, I would say, really, really baggy jeans.
Okay.
That I love that's in right now, because like, I mean, kind of like what you were saying earlier, if you're insecure about your legs, they're so baggy you don't see them.
Yes.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then so that with like either a Skims tank top or a Skims sort of fits everybody tight t-shirt. And I love that. And then if I'm feeling, so it's like my good every day. But then if I'm feeling like if I want to add a little bit of almost like vintage or a little Madison Werner to that, I'll trade out the top for like a thrifted, loose, sort of flowy top.
Okay.
And I love doing that. So I would say the Kai leather coat and anything really black leather is just so good. Or what I was mentioning after that with the baggy jeans. And then funny enough, I also have, I wouldn't say it's one look, but I tend to get inspired by like one or two looks that I see from celebrities, like you were saying earlier, and I can't get them out of my head. I'm like, I've never worn that, but that is so me.
Yeah.
And I will wear that. And I'm actually putting together a look right now that I know some people will love, some people will hate, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to wear it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and that's fine because you love it, and who cares? Like, it's funny because Cami Mendes recently wore this outfit, and it was like, I don't have what I need to create this outfit, but I have it saved in my phone, and I was like, I will wear that. Not everyone will like it. Like, it's like a Bermuda shorts and knee-high boots look, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, with like a belted blazer, and I'm like devoted to, right? Like, I'm going to create it, and it's like, it is because it's like celebrity style. It's just, these stylists, it's really their stylists who are doing this. Like, they put so much effort behind like dressing the celebrity to fit that celebrity's like persona and like the style that they have crafted, and they are brilliant at it, and it literally is our inspiration. Like, it's our feed, but it becomes just what we want to wear. It's cool.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's so cool. And
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to mention this since this podcast is about fashion.
Yeah.
And, kind of what I was saying a second ago is that I have a big event coming up.
Okay.
I've been to it twice before. The first look that I did for it was not my favorite because I didn't realize that it was an event that you have to dress up for.
Okay.
And I had nothing in my closet. So I'm very inspired by celebrities' red carpet fashion for it last year. It was I was inspired by just one look that Madison Werner wore to a Spider-Man premiere.
Okay.
And it was like a mini dress with like sheer black tights and like sheer long gloves and all this stuff, very strappy. And this year I am inspired by a look that got so much hate that I think people didn't understand, but they will later.
Okay.
Which is Kylie Jenner's Met Gala 2022 wedding dress look.
Okay, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I loved that when I saw it, and I think people were confused, but I think it was like a perfect homage to Virgil Abloh's world that he made at Off-White. And so I kind of teased this in my broadcast channel. So between us, which will then be on the internet, I asked a company, I really need a dress for this event, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I found this Off-White Virgil's posthumous last show.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's this purple sort of fuzzy mini dress with matching long gloves, and I'm going to do that. I'm like, can you tell I'm so excited?
Yeah, no, but this sounds incredible. Where did you track that down?
I was on their website. I'm on the Real Real.
Okay.
I was on their website, and I was searching, and I said, even if they don't let me have this, yes, I will probably buy it.
Yes.
But they let me have it.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, what? And so I have it now, and I'm gonna do I want to do sort of Kylie's backwards hat with a veil.
Oh my god, love it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like a lavender backwards hat with like a sheer big veil in the front, and I don't know. I'm really excited.
I love that. See,
long hair.
You're making it you though, because even though the Kylie aspect of it is there, and she did it on the Met Gala, you're going for the purple, and you're really personalizing it, So that's what's so cool about celebrity style. You can make it your own.
Exactly.
Okay, but wait, this kind of has to go. So I was thinking of this too. Do you have any go-to spots? Obviously, the Real Real is one of them to look for vintage and archival pieces. But any spots that are LA specific or maybe recent favorites where you've been shopping? I know obviously Kai, you like Kai, but what are your other favorite go-to spots?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, Skims as well, which
yes,
but I would say in LA there are these two stores that have a few locations in the city. One is Wasteland,
okay,
and one is Crossroads, and both of them are consignment bordering on thrifting. So Crossroads is a sort of more affordable, accessible version of Wasteland, but Wasteland starts at $18 and goes up from there.
Oh wow!
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are my favorite places to shop, and I would say that at least half my closet is from there.
That's awesome. So. Yeah, that's an accomplishment. You built your closet. Yeah.
And I think I've started feeling a little guilty if I do purchase something new. And of course, we all have to and if we see something we really want, like this jacket I'm wearing or anything like that, we'll obviously get it. But I will usually look for what I want on Depop as well. Or at those stores, and so. Those are my favorite places.
That is, that's the number one way to do it. You see a stuff, and I was saying this recently. I was on the Unethical Consumer podcast, and we were talking about, and she's a brand new podcaster as well, and we were just talking about when we see something we like, and I think the way to always be, because there is this like guilt surrounding shopping new, is like you see a look and you check to see if you can find it vintage. And what I was saying is that it's usually cooler if it's vintage. It just has like this right? Like it just does.
It really does. And it has a story.
Yes. It has a story. It makes it so much neater than like something that everyone's buying right now and you're going to see someone else wearing on the street. But like, I mean, I love the brands that you shop new too. Like I think Kai and Skims, they're so awesome. Skims is the quality is like it's real. It's in front of you as soon as you buy a piece. Like you're convinced. Yeah.
And even Kai too. It's like, you can feel it. And I recently watched a TikToker, I don't know his name, but he came up for me and he analyzes different brands' popular clothing and he will literally like cut it apart and figure out how much it costs to make it. And if it's worth it, if it's made well. And he did the Kai leather coat and he was like, oh, this is great.
Send me that reel if you can find it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I also think that my main inspiration when I go thrifting is, of course, my style, but Madison Beer is really great at it. I mean, she recently had a Vogue spend 24 hours with me video where she literally went consignment and thrifting.
That's awesome. You just like, you know what you like and you watch those people and you know how to like make it your own. And that is a talent. It really is.
But that reminds me of like I remember that sort of crop top that you had mailed to me. That was so
yes.
That was so nice. You didn't have to do that, and I'm so grateful. It's hanging out in my closet right now.
Oh, love it.
And like I love it. And when you sent it to me, you said how like you feel that I have an eye for what I think will look really good on me.
Yes.
And that meant a lot because like I feel like I do. But
you do.
I think that other people might not understand it. But when I see something, I'm like, I need it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like, I need that.
I think if someone doesn't understand it, they don't really understand the difference between fashion and style. And I always like talk about this. Like it's so true. It's like, and I know your style. Like I get your style. I get your vibe. And I feel like it I don't know, like, I was like, this top belongs to you. Like, yes, I wore it that one time, but like, it is so your style. And it's just fun. It is really funny. And I think that goes back to the whole, what we were talking about before is like, clothes have stories, right? Like, I was like, there's no one better to like continue the story with this item than with Madison. So I was like, this needs to go to you. Yes.
Going back to one of the questions you asked earlier is I love the juxtaposition between masculine and feminine. Mm-hmm. And I think in that top, it was cropped, but it had a sort of like polo collar.
Yes.
And it was long sleeve and tight, but it was like, I don't know, it was the perfect mix. And it was also just long enough where it sort of hides any insecurities, like, because I feel that being a trans woman, we've talked about this years ago, that my shoulders and my like sort of more wide set rib cage makes me more insecure, and so the length of the top really matters to me.
Yes.
It was perfect, and I was like, I need that.
Yes.
And and so I mean, also informing like the look I'm putting together now, the off-white look with the backwards hat with a veil, that's literally like masculine, feminine. Like it's just, I love it.
Yes, it's perfect. It just totally represents you. I love that. That's like, I mean, I feel like I'm the same way with masculine, feminine looks. Like I'm very attracted to that. I hate something that's overly one way. I like that like juxtaposition in a look. But then again, like that's just our personal style. Not everyone's like that. Not everyone understands it if they're not that way. So we like what we like.
Something that my friends started saying that I just can't get out of my head is if a look or even an object, it really doesn't matter, is sort of emulating that either androgyny or juxtaposition or including both or whatever, we say that it's giving gender.
I love that.
A big t-shirt on like this like supermodel girl, like it's giving gender.
That is perfect. I love that. Okay.
Like the idea that's like giving gender theory almost, I guess.
Yes, like it literally is like telling a story in and of itself about it. Like I love that. I won't steal it, but I might use it in the introduction.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, let's get a little bit more like broad picture. So as a woman with a platform that you have, what is like your number one goal this year? Or I guess just moving forward in general, what is like your intention with your platform?
Great question. I think I want to keep doing what I'm doing in the sense of I've found a really great balance between protecting my own mind and my own heart with all of the tragedy going on that I write about. So balancing what I feel I can write about versus what I can't or don't want to.
Yes.
While also, and sort of in that, maintaining my authenticity. And at the same time, I really want to show people more of my personality because I think that I do share a lot of my interests, and I make a lot of jokes that I find are funny and, all of that. But like, I'm a lot more goofy, and like stupid than like I put out there. Even like, I recently did my friend's makeup, the same friend whom I live with, and I said, okay, let me put this on my story, and the way I captured it was like, oh my gosh, she's such a baddie, like whatever, and she looked at me, she's like, you would never say this in person. I was like, so I
do it.
Bridge that gap. Yeah.
Do it. Like honestly, Reels is a great way to start bridging that gap. I feel like,
Yeah, even the reel I just posted, like with making those jokes about like I'm a trans girl. Of course,
Yes, you are good at it. And also, when I talk to you, like every time I've talked to you, you're so personable. Like you're not awkward about making jokes. Like just do it. Just do it. But I mean. Listen, like I do feel like you have a brand. You do. Like your Instagram, when you go to your page, it's a brand, and I understand why you would like be careful to like venture away from it because it's so successful the way it is, and it's like aesthetically so pleasing. And I think that's like why I wrote the question here, but just about your infographics. Like, do you want to continue in the direction that you're on with these infographics and this content, or do you want to try to switch it up? Like, what do you think you see in your future if you had to predict?
Yeah, I definitely want to continue with the infographics because if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yes.
And I do love doing it because I feel like it's a perfect outlet for me to share my thoughts without the in-person social barrier that I sometimes feel. And I in person, I sort of stumble on my words a little bit, and I can't really streamline them in the way that I would want to in an infographic. So that's why I do that. I'm going to keep that, although I want to add some very intentional reels. Like I don't want to just post them to post them. I really want to have them add to my brand, like you said. And I also want to ensure that I, even both from a reaching people standpoint and, it's like sort of affecting change, but also just as a creator where unfortunately engagement does play a part. I don't want to stray too far away to a point where I'm, one, not affecting change, and two, it's not reaching people and engagement goes down. I don't want that either. So that's definitely, it's like a weird sort of tightrope to walk as a creator. And also ensuring that your desire to not have the engagement go down also doesn't come off like you're only thinking about engagement.
Yes.
Obviously not.
Yes.
But it's a weird game to play, but through it all, like I was saying before, I want to make sure I show my personality a lot and really just be myself throughout it all.
I love that.
And something that I also will add regarding your question about aesthetically putting all of this together. is a post will, like I said, will take 5 hours to really put together. But then sometimes it'll take longer, depending on if I have a vision in my head. Sort of like there's a theme for me where if I have a vision, I can't put it down until it's done.
Okay.
So I have certain ways I've edited an infographic that I think is, in my mind, perfect. Like the lighting, the coloring, the everything, like in my face is just how I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I would use that photo and like literally like color other photos like this one.
Yes.
To make it the same color.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend like an hour or two doing that because I'm like, it has to be perfect. And so I'm very particular about the coloring, and I also find it really cool if I'm able to blend the colors of the trans flag into my posts.
That is cool too.
So like the blue background, which are photos I've taken of the sky. And then I put a picture of myself there. You have like the pink in the lips, which kind of emulates the trans flag, and you have almost like the white in my eyes, or even the beige of my skin tone can play off of the idea of the white and the trans flag. I don't know. It's like so that's also something I enjoy playing with. And that's part of why my process does take a while.
But I mean, you're a straight up graphic designer. You're not only like a content creator, but you're now like really talking about art and like interworking different themes and different, you know, like recognizable objects that everyone knows and can identify. Like that is hard work. Like I can't do that. That's really cool.
I'm self-taught, girl. I'm just here typing away on my computer hoping it sticks. You know what I mean?
Well, it does though. And like, yeah, I mean, that's how you're building your brand. So it is so important. Like, I understand why it takes a long time and why you want it to take that long, because you want to, you know, put quality into everything that you do.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very much quality over quantity. And I think in an era of TikTok and Reels, a lot of people are just, like, I've heard so many times people are just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And I get it. I totally get it. I would argue that not posting a reel every day, and instead before you can do that, but before doing that, really sit down and think about what your audience will want in connection also with what you want, and then start doing that and really be intentional with it, because throwing like just doing whatever and seeing what happens, like, I think also makes people less interested, in my opinion. And it's just too much at once where I just want the quality.
I
want it to really hit me, you know?
That is great advice. I am literally going to take that advice. That is very smart advice. Because as someone who's like now like doing this new venture, like I need that. That's very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And I think people will argue, and it's weird. I actually don't love talking about or blaming algorithms, because, although they do play a huge part, of course. I do think the TikTok algorithm, from me just starting to post a couple of videos and from my friends who post on there, has gotten a lot more difficult to navigate than the Instagram one. Instagram Reels will apparently be more successful than on TikTok. Yeah. And so other than that, I just feel like when things don't do well, it often is still informed by potentially a lack of sitting down and really thinking out what you want to do in a way, and making it also feel relatable while having that intentionality and quality to it. Yeah. It's a weird game. Yeah. But I really, and so some people will say on TikTok, you know, post once a day. I'm like, okay, like that's true for TikTok. Reels, please don't spam my feed. Yeah. Please don't. Like, it also works differently. Like on TikTok, you don't really see the content of who you follow as much as you do, like, just anyone else's in the For You page. So it doesn't matter as much if you post every day. But in Instagram, like, please, I just want to see the quality.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that totally makes sense. And I'm someone who's not even like obsessed with TikTok where I'm like always scrolling the way some people do. I would say I'm more of a scroller on Instagram, but I completely get that. Like the times I do use TikTok, I feel the same way. It's like, it doesn't really matter if it's the same person's video coming up. I don't care about the quality. I just am continuously scrolling. That's what TikTok is, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like viral moments that come and go rather than on Instagram. I think it's more intentional. And now we're getting into the whole social media conversation, but
yeah,
like something that informs my style a lot, that is really coming to fruition in my brain now, and I guess recently in my life, is in connection to me having an idea that I can't put down, I'm like, once I want something, I have to go get it. And I think even as a kid, going through a lot of family stuff and a lot of just intense shit that was going on, I, even at 5 years old, I was like, I don't want this, I want that.
Yeah.
And sort of being fearless in that way. And I think that has informed my idea of fashion, because I do have my favorites and I have an idea of what, in my opinion, looks good on me and what I think are timeless and beautiful. But also, I think, for example, brands like Kai bring out that sort of fearlessness in me, and playing with gender and making my outfit give gender is sort of plays on that, because it's like, fuck you, I don't care if you want me to wear a dress, and you know, I don't like heels, and now I sound like a pick-me, but like,
no, not at all, not at all.
Like I don't like other girls. I really enjoy that aspect of it, and I even remember when I came out as trans in New York City, like my second month of my first semester of college, I had just started my journey to get hormones. A family member of mine, not immediate family, but not immediate family, I don't know the other name for that, but a family member called me when she heard I was going to start hormones, and she said, are you sure? Because this is going to change your body. This is like, you know, I don't know if you really want this. And like it's really early. And I was like, no. And I hung up and I got them. And then now they're like, oh, you're right. And I think, like, with fashion and style, I would say more style. Yeah. I have that aspect in me.
Yeah.
And people will say, wear less makeup, or like, why don't you wear a sundress to brunch? And I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, no.
I want to wear my makeup. I want to wear fucking. Sorry if I'm cursing.
Oh my god, I curse every other word in this podcast. Go for it.
I think, like, going back to Madison Werner at the Grammys, she showed up apparently to the Grammys, like backstage or whatever, in this like boxy, baggy gray suit, no makeup, like big, chunky glasses, and long hair. And then I was like, love that. Okay, cool. Like, I hope she makes the red carpet, but like, if not, it's okay.
Right.
And then she showed up at the last minute in this like beautiful wedding dress that was just like the most feminine thing you've ever seen. And I understand that Madison isn't trans. She probably, or I assume, the idea of gender hasn't necessarily crossed her mind in the same way. But she is queer. She's bisexual. And when I saw that, I felt like that is what I mean. Like, to go from a suit to that dress in like 2 hours is
yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. And I actually, it's funny because when I saw her in that dress, which was beautiful, by the way, I didn't see like the boxy suit, but I did think of you. I did think of you when I saw her on the red carpet in that dress, and I was like, I bet you Madison loved that. Like, you're right. Like, it really was. She is very much like you in the sense that it's like, I want to wear that, so I go get it. Like, I just wear this because I want to. And I think even like before, you were talking about when you first got back to the city and you were taking the hormones and everything, like, I feel like you just know you have a very good sense of who you are. And I think that can show through fashion too, right? So it is like a common theme in your life to know who you are and to do it and be yourself without listening to what everyone, because people can say all the time, like, oh, why don't you wear this? Or you should wear more makeup. Like people say to me all the time, because I told you, like, I don't know anything about makeup. And they're like, oh, you know, you really should wear more blush. Like you never can have enough blush. And like, but it's like, that doesn't feel like me. And when I am wearing all that makeup or like wearing under eyeliner, like I don't feel like myself, you know?
Yeah.
So
for sure, and exactly, and I feel like thank you for putting my bit of a ramble into more succinct.
No, I mean
that's exactly why I write my infographic. there you go. But I think there's you reminded me of this very real idea that when a trans woman comes out, and particularly trans women, I think. There's this idea that everyone else wants you to be as feminine as possible, and very hyper feminine, to almost like prove that you are the woman you say you are. Which very twisted, you know. But it's how a lot of cisgender people perceive the idea of womanhood when you're really trying to become the woman you are. It's like, oh, wear a dress, wear a big whatever, like wear heels. Long hair even, but in the same way that cis women have all different styles. Some are skaters, some are goth, emo, some are very feminine. Trans women are the same, and I know so many trans women who one like loves the like librarian aesthetic, and one loves like the tits out, like whatever, like glamour, and then another will like I don't know, so.
Totally.
It's also that played a huge role in me figuring out my style. And I think I wrote about this in Elle magazine more about beauty, but I think it really relates to fashion as well. I came out at a time when trans representation was still up and coming. So Orange is the New Black had just come out, River Cox on there, and then Gigi Gorgeous was a huge, and still is, of course, a huge trans creator. And even Nikita Dragon at the time, like those moments were really all I had. Yeah. And aside from Laverne Cox being in the show in prison, and her actually even being the like beauty expert of the prison, right? And then on the whole other side of the spectrum, like these hyper feminine girls who are beautiful. Yeah. And like that's all I knew. And so it's like what I'm like sitting in my NYU like dorm cafeteria thinking like, oh my god, like what is this what I should do?
Totally.
And it took me a long time to figure it out.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. And it's like you are a woman, right? But like even more than that, and like maybe even to relate to more people, like we're all becoming the people that we are, not like the super feminine woman. Like who says just because you're a woman you need to like dress that way? And you're right, like sure, it's great that like we have trans representation in Orange is the New Black, right? But like it's not just that one, like you have to be super feminine, you have to be super into beauty and like glam, like that means shit. Like you like what you like, no matter what your gender is, no matter how you identify, like of course. So I understand how frustrating that is. That is just, and
it like even speaks to an even greater thing in the trans community that I think at least trans women, we of course, like there are some incredible trans women who I adore out here in LA, and even some of the most like, for lack of better like terms, like the most cunty, like almost like intimidating trans girls like, are actually still some of the nicest. But there can be this air of competition among trans girls who may not feel as authentic, or who may still feel tied to this boxed idea of being a trans woman, where it's like, are you trans enough? Are you a trans woman enough? And a lot of that can be shown through style, and you know, of course through like surgeries or whatever you would want. But it's all, like you said, we're all trying to figure out the people people we are, and that's the point of gender transition, is to figure out the person you are. And like, I think a lot of trans people, when they come out, we actually, at least in my experience and from also what I've heard, we don't necessarily know who we are when we come out. We're like, I know this about me, I don't know what else. I don't know. Like, I didn't really know how to do makeup. I was just interested in it. I had, you know, I didn't know what my style was. I just knew. Yeah. Transitioning was what I was supposed to do.
And we talked about that too. I feel like when we wrote that story for Pop Sugar and we worked on that together, like, you were talking a lot about how, like, your closet did change. Like, there were a lot of things you thought, oh, maybe I will like wearing this. And then, like, you found that you didn't. And I mean, I think that goes back to, like, you just continuing. What the only thing you can do is, like, continue to be true to yourself and try new things if you feel like trying them. And if you realize that that's not you, go back to what did feel like you. And, like, you know, I think that the truer you stay to yourself with the platform that you have, the more you're going to help others. And it, like, sounds corny and sounds cheesy, but it's you sticking true to, like, your style and staying true to who you are is, like, you know, you're showing other people that you have confidence in doing that, which is great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that's the goal. That's the goal. And if people don't understand it, then maybe they're not meant to see what you're doing or to be part of your greater journey. And just do you. And like I said, just because I don't like wearing patterns doesn't mean someone else shouldn't. Or just because I only pick and choose certain aspects of some trends to implement in my style doesn't mean that you shouldn't go off and do every single trend that you want. Like, you know? So who cares? Yeah, you should be the one that cares.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that was great. That was a great way to end this. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with me and Madison. I hope it sticks with you. I hope that you remember that, you know, you just should do you and worry about you and stay in your own lane. And anyone who has a problem with that isn't invited into your life. You know, just stick with what you love, be confident, and continue to be a strong woman. And I think that was kind of like the ethos of mine and Madison's conversation today. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you are in need of another style icon, we both highly suggest you check out Madison Beer. I'm following her and I love what she wears just as much. I have to say, she pulls off some things that I don't know if I could pull off, but I don't mind admitting that I'm giving it a try. So anyway, welcome to our Women's History Month series. We will be only featuring very strong women we love who are entrepreneurs, business leaders, designers. They host their own podcasts. They collaborated with other companies. They're making their fucking dreams come true. We just want to celebrate those people this month. So that's who you'll be able to see in the following episodes. Like, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Dinner for Shoes very soon.